Awesome. Okay, great. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. This is the Thursday, April 10th version of the HamSCIence Zoom call. As some of you probably saw in the meeting announcement, what I thought we would do today is spend a little bit more time talking about meteor scatter. In particular, I just want to go through a couple of menus on WSJT so everybody understands how and where you can make wave file recordings, because that was one of Dr. Purcell's requests last week, that not only we send our reception reports and things to PSK Reporter. For those of us making two-way contacts, we'll upload our logs and collect them. But to having the audio files as well could be very, very helpful. So let me close my door in the room here so the cat doesn't get in. Because you know how cats are, they want to be the center of attention. So he'll grab the screen and then we won't get anything done. So, all right. I just want to say, of course, welcome to it. I think there's a couple of new faces, and what this calls are all very, very informal. You'll hear people throw out questions and answers and help one another as we go along. So feel free to contribute, jump in, ask anything. There are, of course, no dumb questions, because especially when it comes to this meteor scatter stuff, a lot of us are brand new at it, and a lot of us are looking to get involved for the very first time in the next couple of months. All right. One of the things I like to do, I'm going to switch over to sharing the screen on my other computer and bring up the WSJT software real quick. So let me try and do that. Let's see, I got to get to Zoom on the other computer. Share my desktop. So, and there it is. Okay, we'll get rid of this. All right. So the first thing I kind of sort of promised is to look at where in the WSJT menus they talk about saving the audio files. And little devils call it the save menu at the top. And it says save none and save all, but they don't really tell you what you're saving. And I learned kind of the hard way that if you type save all, every 15-second cycle, an MSK 144 will turn into a WAV file, an audio file. And they'll fill up your hard disk if it's not big enough. But remember too, most of those 15-second periods, you don't have any decodes, so you really don't need them all. So that's why I've changed and figured out, I think reading the instructions, changed to save decoded. So that anytime you do have a decode on a ping, that will create a wave file, and that will be useful. Now, where do these wave files go? That's the other thing. So there's another menu at the top called File, Open Log Directory, and at least in an Apple system, this is what she looks like. There's a Save menu, and this is where they go in the Save menu. There's one of the files I recorded back on April 6th. The system names them for you, but the year, month, date, so on, and a sequential number, I suppose. So anyhow, so that's how you find your way around to saving the wave files. Any questions on that? Or anybody who's tried it or had different experience than I've had? Nope. Okay, that's good.
Hey, Gary.
Yes.
Made it.
Hey, Nathaniel. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
How was the science fair today?
It went great. It went very well. Thank you.
Good. Good. All right. The other thing I wanted to mention too, somebody, I forget who it was in the last couple of weeks, was when in doubt, read the instructions. WSJT, the whole system, has a really good set of documentation. So when you get to the main WSJT website and go down to the documents, and there is a whole lot of stuff covered on here. And one of the things I was looking for the other day, I was trying to find where there are some sample files. So even if you're sitting here on a Wednesday evening and there's nothing going on meteor scatter wise, but you kind of want to test your system, you should be able to find sample files. And if you just search on the word sample, I think, there you go. Section 6.1, download samples. So from the help menu in WSJT, you can get sample audio files for all these various different modes. So let's give that a try. So we get Explorer out of the way. WSJT, help. Download samples. And you can pick whatever samples you want to download. I picked MSK 144, of course, the other day. I think I hit refresh. And let's go back and look at that same place where my WAV files were going to be. Open the log directory, samples, and there you go. There are two WAV files that somebody else has recorded of valid pings. So if you go back into WSJT, do a file open, pick one of those files. Let's watch my decode window in the upper left. Whoop, where'd we go? There's a sample file. So you can play that guy over and over again, or pick the other sample file and see that your system, at least so far as the software setup and stuff, is working. I thought that was a pretty clever addition they made to the software. Now, it doesn't test the interface to your rig or test your sound card interface necessarily, but at least you know that you've got something going on here. Now, the interesting thing is, I just realized, I don't know if these are going out the PSK report and kind of polluting our data or not. So maybe I should have turned that off first. I'm not sure. But any comments, or anybody have experience with doing this?
Are these sound files, are these WAV files single channel 48 kilohertz, 16-bit?
Good question. When I was looking on, searching on the word sample earlier, get this out of the way. They suggest setting your audio sound card to 48K and 16 bits. So yeah, I think that's what's requested. And I don't know, I'm not a Windows person. I'm not sure if you have to go in and set some of that kind of stuff in Windows or not.
An easy way you can check is you can try opening up the WAV file in Audacity, and you can read all the property information of the WAV file there. And that works on both Mac, Windows, and Linux.
Let's see. And there's a thing, so you can do the info, MSK 144 frequency call, and that's the comment on the file.
Their sample rate is 12 kilohertz. See under more info,
there it is.
Sample. So it's a 12 kilohertz sample rate, 16 bits, and it's mono.
Interesting.
So it might be able, yeah.
I wonder if that's adjustable. I suppose you would probably go into your, I'm not sure about Linux. With Windows, I could probably go in and make some adjustments there.
Whoops, I mean to do that. I look at the file I recorded back on April 6th. Same thing, just as Nathaniel said, mono 12 kilohertz, 16 bits.
Another thing we should think about if we're going to get people to save these WAV files, unfortunately, it includes a timestamp, which is good, but unfortunately, it doesn't include any frequency information. Oh, actually, oh, that's interesting. It includes in the comment there. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's good to know that it's in that header there.
Let me do a file open on that one and see what comes up. Just
I'll have to check that out on the Windows system too. We should see if those comments are there in the Windows systems as well. But that information in the comments file can be in the comments field of the file information can be very useful to us.
Yeah, that WAV file there, it doesn't look like it had any intelligence in it. I might not have been copying anybody back on the 6th. But that's a good thing for folks to check out if they're going to do some listening ahead of time. Yeah, take a look at the WAV files and what kind of properties are in there. And that could be pretty useful. But that's Finder. Sorry. All right.
Gary, last one of the days recently when people were playing around with 10 meters and somebody made a contact and they said that it turned out that their contact was spread pretty much across that 15 seconds, and that's a good indication that it's F2. It's not meteor scatter, right? Because you see those very short bursts in there. Well, that's a good way of telling whether it's F2 or meteor scatter.
Well, let's take a quick look at that, see if I can share again. So what we're saying is this is looks like a ping because it's so short in duration.
Exactly.
But if we had seen a signal that occupied
Yeah.
many of these transmit cycles, it would have been likely F2 if it was real wide and spread across the whole.
That's right. Or
Yeah,
even more
Just
than
as a comment,
just a few in width, it would be probably F2. Go ahead, Bob.
I listened on 10 meters the other night. I don't remember just what night it was, Tuesday maybe. And at 10 o'clock p.m. local time, New England, I was still hearing South America, Argentina. The Caribbean was coming in, Colombia. I think Ecuador was in it one bit. And the West Coast was still working the South Pacific, New Zealand, Australia, a few JAs. I wasn't hearing those signals, but they were certainly working them. So, I think this idea that, we might not have a problem fighting the MUF so we can get through to the meteors.
Likewise on
Might be a
6
real-
meters too.
Yeah,
6
well,
meters. I've been working South America on 6 meters lately, and then 6 meters and 2 meters, even in the morning, you get things like tropo and stuff show up, and they kind of wispy lines going through there.
I've been monitoring 6 meters a few days this week. I got it, I think, running about Tuesday or Wednesday. And I've got a KX3 sitting here on my desk, and it runs 24/7 on 6. And I'm using the regular MSK calling frequency, and I'm copying stations in the morning. I didn't copy anything today, but I've even copied signals this time of day, US signals. But so meteors are there all the time. They're just
Somebody said earlier, if you don't call CQ, right? What was that, Ed? What was that comment, Ed, about the chickens calling CQ or whatever? But
Well, if you don't call, nobody's going to come back to you. So
there you go.
yeah.
All right. Any other comments or questions from either new or experienced meteor scatter operators on the net?
Well, I'm one cable short of getting on the air. I need to get another audio cable to connect the computer to the radio, and I should be able to go on 10 meters. I thought I might try listening on 10 and maybe transmitting a little bit.
If you can
It'll
get,
found
be
one of
low
the-
power.
if you can get on in the mornings between your local East Coast hours of 7 to 9, you'll find folks on Pin Jockey to talk to that will be happy to set up a 10-meter trial. So that's what we've been seeing here most recently. And of course, we're really focusing in on Saturday mornings. We keep telling people that, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Bruce, a question on the hours.
There were people on midweek.
Okay. What, I heard you say 7 to 9 a.m. I know when I was on a couple of weeks ago, I started up like at 5:30 in the morning local time. I know Ed's working on a presentation for Dayton. What should we recommend to people that maybe are trying this for the first time? What time should they get up in the morning to give this a start?
Well, earlier is better. I mean, I'm usually up around 5 or 6 myself. And what I've noticed is there hasn't been too much activity on 10 until a little bit later in the morning, you know, like maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock or so. It's hard to ask people to be up at 5 in the morning along with you, you know, trying out 10 meters. And of course, if they're west of here, it's even worse, right? So, but that's my recommendation. There also are some local hams here in Fauquier County where, you know, Rich, K1HTV, and I are. K3FR, who some of you may know, is usually active in the evenings, and I think he may have been trying some 10-meter in the evenings. But again, you run into that F2 is still hanging around up there. So, but anyways, if you can get on in the mornings and just see what's going on Ping Jockey, throw out a note, say you're CQing on 10 meters, you'll probably find somebody to try to make the connection. But say, ditto, you know, goes for 2 meters as well. Because a lot of people are really trying to work 2 meters, including myself now. That's even harder, right?
If anybody's at the right distance would be interested, I'd be willing to try a few skids with you on 10 meters. I've got a 3-element beam. I can the ham shack, my main ham shack is disabled at the moment because of construction work going on in the cellar. So I can't get to the big amplifier without, well, I could carry it upstairs. But
Anytime you want to try it, Bob, I mean, just, you know, make some noise on Ping Jockey or give, you know, I'm usually watching email. You can always send me an email too, and we can try it. You're in New York.
okay. Yeah, I poked around on Pin Jockey a little bit yesterday. I didn't, it was late in the evening. There wasn't anybody else on, it seemed, but
Yeah, Ping Jockey shuts down usually by around 10 o'clock local time.
I didn't quite get that.
I say Ping Jockey normally shuts down by around 10 o'clock local time. There's just nobody there because everybody's doing their stuff in the morning. And remembering it's an MSK centric thing. Although this morning we were playing with Q65 and you know, any of the other exotic modes that are out there, but it's mostly MSK.
Yeah. Yeah, every once in a while, my screen stalls here and I don't quite get it sometimes.
The internet equivalent of QSB, right? That just comes and goes. All right. Any other questions, comments?
Now, the other thing,
Yeah,
Well, if we lost you for a second, Bob. Lee, go ahead.
I just wanted to jump in because I'm totally new to MSK 144. I'd like to help out with monitoring here. I don't think I've got enough power to transmit. I'm a QRP only station, but I'd like to get set up and monitor through the Lyrid event, if that's helpful. So, I mean, I've got a 10-meter dipole up. I'm not sure I'm gonna, be able to distinguish between things that are truly scatter and other things that come in. Not knowledgeable enough on that yet. Any tips there on what I just need to do? Should I?
Say mainly
If
watch the
if they
graphs.
decode on MSK, that's what you're looking for. If there's something else there, it just won't decode.
Right. Well, I understand that. And I'm gonna probably need to just leave this running unmonitored for at least a day or two during the shower. So, is that
Monitors are really important, really useful. And that's kind of the
Yep.
point we made in the announcement, is that the more monitors we have,
Okay.
the better the transmitters can figure out what's really going on and encourage them to be on the air.
Okay? Well, I'll.
If you just one hint, if you look at the spectrum display, and the waterfall, but the spectrum display, you'll see a very abrupt. It looks, the leading edge of the signal is a vertical line,
I just looked at the sample file and I could see a spike.
and then you see an exponential decay.
Mhm.
That's a meteor's burst. If it's real short, we call it a ping.
Okay.
And but they can be real long too. But if the signal bouncing up and down like a normal FT8 signal or something, then I think you got F2 skip or sporadic E or whatever. But I mean, it's still a contact.
Well, I'll
but
still
it's just not me.
coding it and uploading it. It's just, I can't stop the app from doing that. So, yeah.
The other thing
Well-
that's well helpful or beneficial too is if you do, as Lee suggested, as I've done a couple evenings too, just turn the gear on, set it all up, test it, maybe listen to a sample file or something, go to bed, and then get up in the morning and go to PS. You can obviously see what's decoded on your screen. You can take a look at your all.txt file, I think, to see, or maybe those are only QSOs, I'm not sure. But then just go to PSK reporter, .info, look up your call sign for the last 12 hours and see what's been received. Because it's like everything else, now's the time to test it to make sure the things you are receiving are making through the PSK report. And if not, we'll figure out why it isn't, I suppose.
Gary,
Yeah,
I tried to down or look at PSK reporter on the things I had been copying on 6 meters, and I couldn't find it. So I said, well, I wonder if PSK reporter's really working. So I switched to FT8 on 20 meters and copied a few signals, and then went to PSK reporter, and I found them fine. So I don't know if I wasn't interrogating it right or what, but I just was having an issue. And unfortunately I had restarted the program, so I couldn't send the files again or something. So I don't know. I'm just
My thought there is
wondering if
that,
somebody, yeah. Is
yeah,
there,
my thought there is that no one heard you. So you never, on MSK, no one heard you, therefore no PSK report. But it
no,
does
I
work.
wasn't transmitting.
Oh,
I wasn't transmitting. I was receiving,
well,
but
likewise, maybe no one
I
was,
couldn't
no one was
find
on.
my, well, there were there were decodes on the screen. In fact, there
Oh,
was a whole contact, and I should have been reporting it. But when I looked at PSK reporter, I couldn't find it. And so I don't know if I wasn't interrogating PSK reporter right. I said, kind of all signals, 6 meters, W1XP, my call, nothing came up. But when I did it on FTA, on 20 meters, the things I monitored were there. So I think I'm talking to the reporter. I just don't know if I'm not sending the right thing or if I'm not asking for the right thing, because you have to ask for mode and everything. And I checked MSK and thought I had it.
You have your PSK reporter reporting turned on under you have to go
Yeah,
under the reporting tab and make sure you've checked reporting to PSK reporter.
Yeah, well, like I say, I'm sending FT8 reports,
Oh, okay.
but I'm not sending. Well, I don't know if I'm not sending them or if I'm not interrogating PSK reporter correctly. You have to go through that little thing at the top of the page and 6 meters and MSK and
I just
all that.
check off all
MSK
digital modes, and I've seen MSK before, so I know it works.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that's a thought. I'll try that.
It's
Yeah.
interesting. I'm looking at PSK reporter and I have it set to MSK 144 and wide open otherwise. And I'm only seeing 3 things worldwide, 3 monitors.
Well,
Not a-
Try
let
12
me-
hours. Try 12 hours. You'll get a bunch of them.
I'm at 24 hours.
right,
You'll even get
right.
more.
This is a problem. Nathaniel had asked me to look up some information on timing for various things, and meteor scatter. I now have a model that indicates, the likelihood of meteor at any given time. And for me, I'm at 40 degrees latitude and just 6/10 of a degree west of the 75 degree west meridian, which is the central meridian for Eastern Standard Time. And the peak here almost always occurs about 6:30 in the morning, when you get the model indicates about 10.5 meteors per hour coming in. Now, if you try to do this in the evening, you're going to get less than a 1 meter, less than half a meteor per hour coming in, according to the models. And so I just wanted to make sure that you realize that it is very time dependent in terms of the 24-hour day.
I understand, and that's and I said I'm on 24-hour look back here, and I'm still seeing very little. So I'm just wondering if there's something going on with PSK reporter settings that's not allowing these things to be seen.
Have you selected sent received by anyone?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I selected 6 meters and I selected signals sent received by anyone using MSK 144, but I went on 6 meters and there's a bunch of them that popped up. I haven't looked at the other bands.
You're using upper sideband. And the frequency's correct. I mean, what I can't remember which band you were listening on.
I'm not listening. I'm just looking at PSK reporter.
6
Oh,
meters.
okay.
Yeah, it was 6 meters is the band I selected.
Let's give it a try here. We're live and on in the screen. So 6 meters shows signals received by anyone using MSK 144 over the last 24 hours.
Well, there's a few.
But there's a 6 meter. And these are all 6 meters from what it looks like, 5260.
It's interesting.
Now, if you go in there and do the call sign KN4GDX, you'll see the ones I did this morning. So
That's
there were a few.
6 meters only.
Yeah, that's only, let's see. Yeah, there were just a few this morning that I copied because I was working Q65.
Okay. I'll have to work on this. All my display options are, I'm not hiding anything and nothing's showing up. So
Let's see, it changes back to anyone. Try this again. Yeah, I'm getting a bunch here right now, so.
That's a pretty good amount of activity. It looks like the times are between, let's see, I was looking at it, maybe between about 1000 hours Zulu and maybe 1300 or 1400 Zulu, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of them clustered around 1100 UTC, but yeah, that's okay. There's 14 GMT.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell by when Ping Jockey wakes up because the first people start hitting Ping Jockey in the morning at about 9 Zulu. After that, there's
Bruce,
nothing.
how does Ping Jockey work, Bruce? Is this sort of a chat thing or?
Yeah, you can go in and register. That'll allow you to make entries.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you just you notice the last thing there was at 1300. That's 9 o'clock. That was at 9:23 this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And you see a lot of K0 TPP in there. That's Larry in Kansas. That was one of the stations that showed up when you showed my call sign in there.
Mm-hmm. 3
The
years
nice thing
ago.
about this.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
You
Oh,
see
yeah. I
gonna say that-
was going to mention 3 years
it was
ago,
11:58
I monitored.
when I said
Oh, go ahead.
73 to everybody. So
Sorry. 3 years ago, I was monitoring 6 meters. I just hooked up my 6 meter monopole vertical that I use on FM. And it was during I think it was during the August meteor event. And I just went away expecting not to receive anything. And I came back about an hour later and my screen was just totally populated with contacts. I was amazed how well it worked.
Yeah, the nice thing about this, one of the nice thing about this page is if you're going to be transmitting is just updating your user details is real simple. And then you're done. It saves a click in your computer. You don't have to log in. You don't have to remember passwords or any of that kind of stuff. It's just very easy to use. So, and it's a friendly bunch too, on top of everything else.
Rich has been posting the link on HamSCI to the QSO party. He does that on a regular basis just to kind of keep people aware.
Ah, good, good. So it sounds like we have a few things to figure out with PSK reporter.info. So maybe that's everyone's homework is to go see if they can see some activity on there. Because earlier today I thought I saw nothing. Then just a few minutes ago, you guys saw how much red was on my screen. So I learned a trick.
I refreshed my screen and I'm seeing things now. So I think we're
Okay.
Yeah.
Like my wife was on the IT desk at work. So you blame it on your cache needs to be cleared. There was something that was cached. That was a famous answer. So
I haven't figured out how to share my sound card in this computer with Zoom and with the 6 meter receiver. But I got another sound card dongle, and I think that'll solve the problem.
right, any other comments or questions, or maybe we'll be a wrap for the week, get done a couple of minutes early.
Hey, Gary, this is Randy, AC4FD. How you doing?
Yeah, Randy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've missed the past few meetings. Work gets in the way and, gets in the way of personal life and everything else. But anyways, so I missed the first part of this meeting tonight. But the question I have is basically around, I guess, WSJTX. If anybody's came up with a way, I know that it was mentioned once before about, maybe setting up your radio and having it monitor overnight and all that. So I'm just wondering if anybody's come up with a configuration in WSJTX that all that stuff can be recorded, or if we're just looking for, using WSJTX to push the information back out to the net so it can be received on PSK Reporter. You know what I'm saying? Or, also have an ICOM IC 705. So I know it records, so if that also would be something useful.
When you say record, we talked about early in the meeting, and I'll be glad to go over it again, is to save the wave files from the recorded signals. Is that what you're thinking about, the audio, or just the actual digital information itself?
Yeah, so right. So I know, yeah. I guess I have to get in and figure out how to do that. Right now, I know it starts recording whenever you transmit, but if you're just monitoring, I think there's some settings for that you can actually have it record. I don't know, maybe all the time, but I don't think that'd be useful to have a big file that records all night.
Are you thinking about the recording audio, the like WAV files?
Right.
Yeah. There's a menu at the top. There's a save menu. And if you find that menu, I think it's the second option is save decodes only. And that's what you want, because the signals you do decode, where you get a call sign and information, it'll save those as WAV files in 15-second increments.
Okay. And with WSJTX, are we looking to save any information from there, or are we just looking to push the information out to PSK Reporter?
If you're a receive-only station, pushing it out to PSK Reporter is completely adequate. The wave files would be a bonus, but the digital stuff should go out to PSK.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sure. So, anything else? Otherwise, we'll call it a wrap for this week. Next week,
Hey,
we've got
Gary?
a gentleman speaking who's getting up and speaking at 4
Gary?
o'clock in the morning to talk to us about VLF and whatnot. So that should be an interesting one. And Ed will have to get together and push out some releases on that, because I'd like to see a big crew here for our talk next week.
Hey, Gary,
Yeah, Bob.
can you hang around a few minutes afterwards?
Sure. I'll shut off the recording, and I've got till about 10 to 5 or so. I got a few minutes.
Okay.
All right. Good. Nathaniel, any comments, closing comments you'd like to make?
No, I guess yes, there are closing comments I'd like to make. First, I'm very excited about all of this meteor scatter work. I think it's really good. I've been seeing requests to join the HamSCI Google group come in on a regular, almost daily basis over the past couple weeks, and most of the comments say the person is interested in the meteor scatter QSO party. So it seems to be generating a lot of interest. It's really nice to have something to talk to about for all of this. So keep up the good work. I did try tuning in and listening over the weekend to the system or to those frequencies. Unfortunately, I did not get any positive spots here, but I'll keep trying in the future. And yeah, great job.
Wonderful. Thanks. All we'd ask is when we close out the meeting, if you got a minute, if you can process the stuff and send it up to YouTube, because I get a lot of people asking me saying, boy, I can't wait to watch it on YouTube. So that's a nice feature of all our Zoom conferences here at HamSCI.
Great. Yes,
Very
I
helpful.
just got caught up with everything up into this one while we were on today. So I'll try to get this processed quickly.
When we get that HamSCI project administrator, that's could be one of their tasks. So, all right.
Thanks.
anything else for the group? Anybody else? Otherwise, we'll go, I'll hang around for a minute. I'll turn off the recording and hang around for a minute. All right, I guess that's it for business. Thanks, guys. Let me stop the recording.
Okay, bye-bye.